Hey everybody, we're on chapter 38, The Spanish Soldier. With the wagon, they made remarkable time. Might have taken them 3 or 4 days walking, they covered in one evening, rolling not exactly smoothly over the bumpy, rutty road, but thankfully. Old Brownie seemed to have regained a bit of his youthful energy, neighing and shaking his mane at the start of each evening's travel. Polly chuckled to herself as she remembered a horse her father had once owned. Old Fart, he had called it because the horse had had a terrible problem with flatulence, which just basically means she had got gas. He eventually sold it to a farmer he didn't like. One fart deserves another, her father had joked, making up funny horse stories, complete with vividly descriptive sound effects, all to amuse Polly. Her mother had frowned with mild disapproval at first, but eventually the three of them ended up laughing uproariously in front of the hearth that whole evening. Those were the times she missed, not the days of hunger or rats or sickness, but the warmth of the fire when her family laughed. "What do you miss most about your mother, Amari?" she asked as they rumbled down the road in the starlight. Amari was silent for a moment. Then she said, "Seemed like no matter what I asked her, she always got the right answer. Sure be nice to talk to her one time." Polly nodded in understanding. "And my father wasn't perfect," she admitted, "but my mother truly loved him. She would light up like a lantern when he walked into a room." She paused. "At the end, she was in severe pain, but she was so brave, never complaining, only worrying about what would happen to me." Mari pulled the reins so the horse would step around a branch on the road. I never seen my mama scared. Never know what her, never seen her not know what to do." She breathed deeply of the night air. "Even the night she died, she fight like a lion." "You know, you're brave as well, Mari. Your mother would be proud of you," Polly said honestly. "Your belief in Fort Mose, along with your strength and courage, is what has brought us this far." Mari shook her head. "I be scared all the time," she admitted. "I never be brave as lion like my mama." Polly looked up at the sparkling night. "I'll think of my mother at night as we travel," she told her Martin. "It helps." Mari glanced at the sky and smiled as if the thought was comforting. "What about my mama?" Tippet asked him. "I want to go back home." Mari and Polly both hugged him. "Well, we gotta find new home," Mari told him. "Your mama wants you to be big boy. You know she love you, even if she can't be with you." Tibbet seemed unconvinced. He put his thumb in his mouth and leaned against Amari. By day they still hid as best they could, sleeping under the wagon and praying they would not be discovered. There had been no sign of Clay. Polly noticed that Amari seemed to be having trouble sleeping. One afternoon when Amari woke with a start, covered with sweat, Polly told her quietly, "You must think of your young man as dead, Amari. I am so sorry." Amari nodded her head in agreement. "Maybe been better if I not see Bessa like that." Maybe it was a good thing," Polly suggested quietly. "Perhaps it will give you strength to go on." "Make me feel sick inside," Amari told her, "and angry too." Polly traced a pattern with her finger in the dirt. "You know, I never really knew any black people before I came to Mr. Derby's place. I mean, everybody has slaves, of course, but I never actually thought about them. And I certainly never had a black friend before," she admitted. Amari looked away. "Sometimes I hate white people," she admitted softly. "I never hate before I be a slave." She stretched her arms. "I never even see white person till they attack my village. It'd be hard to have hate feeling and like feeling at the same time." Polly said, "I understand, Amari." Amari looked at Polly and said shyly, "I think now I have a friend with pale skin." Polly replied quietly, "For certain you do." Amari looked into Polly's eyes. "If we gets to Fort Mose, you gonna stay?" Polly didn't answer right away. I don't know. I've not thought about it deeply. I truly have no place else to go." Amari shrugged. "I never go back to my land," she said, her voice plaintive. "But this be land of white people. Maybe you find a place for you." Maybe," Polly replied thoughtfully. Mary put her head in her hands and rocked. Finally, her voice full of anguish, she revealed her concerns. "Maybe nothing be there, Polly. Maybe it no be no good place. Maybe best is right and we be catched." "And maybe he is wrong and you and Tibbet will be forever free," Polly said firmly. "You told Fiona that Tibbet is yours. He is your child now, Mari. He needs you to be strong." "Maybe I not be strong enough to be a mother," Amari said doubtfully. Polly smiled and looked at the sleeping child. "You would die for that child." "Yes, for sure," Amari admitted. "In my village, all women be mothers to all the children. Maybe Tidbit belonged to both of us," Amari said. Tidbit opened his eyes and grinned. "Tidbit belonged to Tidbit," he said cheerfully. Amari's sad mood seemed to lift as she and Polly tickled him. Even when they played and laughed, however, they did it quietly, always watchful of footsteps or danger. always fearful of the return of Clay. The land in southern Georgia lay vastly undeveloped, with fewer and fewer settlements of farmers. Amari did see in the distance, however, occasional garrisons of soldiers the further south they traveled. Those soldiers made me nervous, Polly whispered to Amari, not wanting Tibbet to hear. Soldiers carry guns, Amari said, remembering the men who had attacked their village. That'd not be good. Let's be extra quiet tonight, Polly suggested. The moon hid behind the clouds, and the night shadows played tricks on Amari's imagination. She kept looking behind her. Nevertheless, they drove their little wagon carefully and slowly down the deserted path that night. It seemed to shout their location as they managed to hit every bump and hollow in the road. They traveled for several hours without saying a word then. Without warning, a shadowy body appeared about 10 feet in front of them. "Oh, two goes there," the male voice called out shakily. Polly thought immediately of Clay. Perhaps he had found them once more. Mari clutched Tidbit to her, and Polly grasped her arm. She was not sure if the man had seen them. To get so close and then be captured. The voice spoke again. "Pere! What? I mean, stop! I mean, Pere!" Footsteps moved steadily. If you mean me harm, or if you be un phantasma, a ghost, go away." Whoever had been speaking fell silent. "What should we do?" whispered Polly. "Run!" Amari whispered back. "Leave the wagon." The two girls climbed down to the road, motioning to Tibbet to jump. Tibbet, instead of slightly slipping from the wagon, shouted, "Who be that, Amari?" The shadowy voice on the road roared. Tibbet screamed. Polly's heart sank. She knew they were captured. But the person on the road didn't grab either of the girls. He reached out and snatched Tibbet from Amari. Tibbet protested loudly and wiggled to get free. Then the voice yelped in pain, and suddenly Tibbet was back on the ground. Amari grabbed him back close to her. "He bit me!" a man's voice whined. Polly relaxed a bit. It wasn't Clay's voice, and when she thought about it, not even a threatening voice. Polly headed toward the man, then stopped. Hush Puppy barked hysterically. The silence of the night completely destroyed. They all stood there on the road like actors in a play, each waiting for the other's next move. Polly spoke first. "Are you drunk?" she asked, trying to understand the man's unusual behavior. "No estoy borracho." "I am not drunk," the man responded. "I never partake of strong spirits, but it might help, however, in this insect-infested country." He belched. What I am is afraid of things in the night, wolves and bears and such." "And children?" Polly asked. "Why not? It is dark, and you surprise me." "He is soldier?" Amari said, her voice low. "Now that is a fact," the man replied in agreement as he stumbled on the road. "Soy un cabo en el directo del rey. I am a corporal in the army of His Majesty King Philip the Fifth. Of course, I have never met the king, but who I am to question kings and generals." He burped again. "Greetings to you from mi paz de España, my beloved home country of Spain." "You are Spanish?" Polly asked suspiciously. She wished she could speak the language. "And most proud of it, my dear, and missing my home mightily," he sighed. "I am Domingo Salvador, just another lonely soldier from Madrid." "So why you grab the child?" Amari asked him angrily. "The night frightens me. He could have been a bear. Tuve miedo, sorry. I was afraid," the soldier admitted, seeming to cower from Amari's words. "I'm not no bear," Timmy stated, sounding mildly insulted. Then he giggled. "What are you children doing out here at media in the middle of the night?" the soldier asked. Polly replied with another question. "Where are the rest of the soldiers in your company? And why are you out here alone at night?" "They are asleep. But we patrol the area for English troops and runaways. Me, I would rather be home with my Maria. We had just married when I was called to this service." He swatted at his arm. "All I have for company are los mosquitos y las memorias." He belched once more. "What do you do with runaways?" Polly asked carefully. The soldier looked at Polly with bleary eyes. "Officially, runaways do not exist until they leave the colonies. But once they cross the Rio del Santa Maria, the St. Mary's River, we help them to St. Augustine. King Philip does not believe in slavery of any kind," he told them proudly. "Which way to this river?" Amari asked wearily. "Well, just 2 days' journey down this road," the soldier replied. "Why do you ask? You be fugitivos, runaways?" "Of course not," Polly said. "Maybe you are intoxicated after all. I'm returning to my home from a visit to my grandfather's house," the young soldier replied. "Oh, I am sorry to have frightened you." "Go back to your company, Corporal Salvador," Polly told him, "and I would not tell my father that I saw you on the road." "Oh, gracias. Thank you, senorita," the soldier replied as he smoothed out his uniform. On the morrow I will believe you were all in mi sueño, my dream. He then looked at Polly seriously. Be very careful, senorita. The soldiers of the English are cruel and dangerous. The river you need to cross is not far. Thank you, sir, Polly said, realizing he was not as simple as he looked. So he is intoxicated and he is kind of drunk, but he was just playing dumb. He's got to fill out who they are, where they're from. They could be English people, spies. He doesn't know. So this guy is actually really, really smart. He's just kind of playing the fool, so to speak. The Spanish soldier looked at the three children and smiled. The place you seek, my children, is called Gracia Real de Santa Teresa de Mose. The English called it Fort Mose. It is 2 miles north of St. Augustine. Sounding suspicious, Amari spoke up. What you know about that place? Corporal Salvador sat down in the middle of the road. It is muy pequeño, very small. Only about 100 people live there, just a few families, but they own the land they work on, and ellos son libres, they are free, to do as they please, he added quietly. What are the people there like? Polly asked. Mostly free slaves. Some white folk, mostly Spaniards, Españoles. Lots of Indians from different tribes, Creek, Seminole, Cherokee, all living together. There's nothing like it in todo el mundo, in all the world. White soldiers in charge? Amari asked. The Spanish soldier laughed. Actually, no. El Capitan of the fortress, Francisco Menendez, a black man. He was once un esclavo, a slave. Amari looked depressed. Of course, I know you're not interested in this place and simply returning home to your father, the soldier continued. But if you should ever be in that location, you would find churches, Catholic, of course, shops, gardens, and simple homes. Lots of niños, children as well. He looked at Tibbet, who scooted behind Amari. "Uh, You are right, sir," Polly said, continuing the pretense that none of them knew what they were actually discussing. My father must be worried by now. I must be on my way. Corporal Salvador saluted the small group of travelers and told them gently, Buena suerte. Good luck, my children. Vaya con Dios. May you go with God. With that, he disappeared back off the road and in the direction of his camp. It be real, Amari said with excitement in her voice. We must hurry. No streets of gold, however, Polly warned. Not that I believed Cato anyway. Streets of free, Amari whispered. Much more better. She was grinning. And you got to remember, Cato exaggerates a little bit, but he was still right about the place. And Streets of Gold for him would just be like Amari said, Streets of Freedom. Like they're free. That's better than any gold they could ever get. So we find out that there is a Fort Mose that is actually a place. You have confirmation by one of the soldiers who are actually from around the place. So they are getting close. They are definitely getting close, and hopefully their journey will be coming to an end shortly. We will be starting chapter 39 and the next video.